The next topic is the land tenure systems in India. 8.3 The land tenure systems in India. Land tenure refers to the system of land ownership and management. So land tenure talks about the ownership of land and the management of land. That is, who owns the land and who has to pay the tax for that land. So it refers to land ownership and management. The features that distinguish a land tenure system from other relates to the following. Who owns the land? So ஒரு land tenure எப்படி டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்கு? பேசிக்காக 3 question இருக்கு. Who owns the land? Who cultivates the land? And who is responsible for paying the land revenue to the government? So based on these questions, 3 different types of land tenure system existed in India before independence. So based on these 3 questions, what are the 3 questions? Who owns the land? Who cultivates the land? And who is responsible for paying the land revenue to the government? We have to give land revenue to the government. We have to pay tax to the government. So based on all these questions, there were 3 different types of land tenure system in India before independence. They are the Zamindari system, the Mahalwari system, the Raitwari system. So these are the 3 land tenure system which existed in India before independence. So first one is Zamindari system. Zamindari system. So Lord Cornwallis introduced this system in India. This was first introduced in Bengal and Bihar. So who introduced the system? Lord Cornwallis. This is also called as permanent settlement system. You can say Zamindari system or permanent settlement system. So this was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793. So this system was created by the British East India Company in 1793. Lord Cornwallis introduced the Permanent Settlement Act. So under this system, the landlords or the zamindars were declared as the owners. So பேர்லயே இருக்கு ஜமீன்தார். இந்த லேண்டுக்கு சொந்தக்காரங்க யாரு? லேண்ட்லார்டுன்னு சொல்லலாம், அது ஜமீன்தார். They were the owners of the land. Okay. So under the system, the landlords or the zamindars were declared as the owners of the land and they were responsible to pay the land revenue to the government. So the zamindar only had to pay the land revenue to the government. The share of the government in total rent collected was fixed as 10/11. So எவ்வளோ டாக்ஸ் கட்டணும்? 11 இதில் 10 பகுதியை டாக்ஸ் கட்டிடணும். அந்த ஒரு பகுதி அப்போ யாருக்கு? அந்த ஜமீன்தாருக்கு. அவருக்கு சம்பளமாக போயிடும். The share of the government in total rent collected was fixed at 10/11. The balance going to the zamindar as remuneration. Next we have the Mahalwari. Mahalwari system வந்து எந்த இடத்துல இருந்தது? It was introduced in the Gangetic Valley, the Central India, Punjab, the North-West province. So Mahalwari system, it was later on extended to Madhya Pradesh and Punjab also. The ownership of the land was maintained by the collective body, usually the villages. It was not owned by individuals. It was maintained by collective body, usually the villages, which served as a unit of management. The land was owned by the collective body. Villages எல்லாம் ஒன்று சேர்ந்து they owned the land. They distributed land among the peasants and collected revenue from them and paid it to the state. Last one is the Raitwari system or the owner-cultivator system. This system was initially introduced in Tamil Nadu and later on it was extended to Maharashtra, Gujarat, Assam, Coorg, East Punjab and Madhya Pradesh. This was introduced by Thomas Munro. Under the system, the ownership rights of use and control of land were laid by the tiller himself. யார் வந்துட்டு நிலத்தை பயிரிடுறாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு தான் எல்லா ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டியும். There was a direct relationship between the owners and the government. This system was the least oppressive system before independence. இதுக்கு அவ்வளோ எதிர்ப்பு இல்லை. Okay, so these are the three land tenure system which was in India before independence. So the land revenue systems in British India, Zamindari, Raitwari and Mahalwari were the major systems of land revenue collection which existed in India. So Zamindari was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793, Raitwari by Sir Thomas Munro in 1810 and Mahalwari by William Benting in 1833. எந்த ஊர்லலாம் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணாங்க? Zamindari was introduced in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and Banaras. Raitwari வந்து Madras, Bombay, Eastern Bengal, Assam and Coorg. Mahalwari was introduced in northwest provinces, parts of central India, Punjab and Ganga Valley of British India. So owner of the land. Zamindars were recognized as the owners of the land. So the Zamindars were recognized as the owners of the land. Here the Rayats or the Rajyats were recognized, the Rayats were recognized as the owners of the land. Right to collect the rent. Who had the right to collect the land? Rent. Zamindars were given the rights to collect the rent from the peasants. இங்க ஜமீன்தார் தான் கலெக்ட் பண்ணும் ரெண்ட்டை. இங்க பிரிட்டிஷ் கவர்மெண்ட் டைரக்ட்லி கலெக்டட் டாக்ஸஸ் ஃப்ரம் த பெசன்ஸ். The village committee, here it was a committee. The village committee was held responsible for collection of the taxes. Here the zamindars collected the rent. Here the government directly collected the rent from the peasants. Here the village committee was held responsible for the collection of the taxes. So this is about the land tenure system in India. Next we move on to Green Revolution. இப்போ லேட்டஸ்ட்டாக கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுத்துருக்க அந்த டிலீட்டட் போர்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் விட்டுட்டு நான் நடத்துகிறேன். ஸோ த கிரீன் ரெவல்யூஷன் இஸ் ஃபவுண்ட் ஆன் பேஜ் நம்பர் 171, 8.7. M.S. Swaminathan is the father of Green Revolution in India. This is a picture of M.S. Swaminathan. He is called as the father of Green Revolution in India. So what do you mean by Green Revolution? The term Green Revolution refers to the technological breakthrough in agricultural practices. So அவ்வளோ நாளாக பாரம்பரியமாக இருந்த முறையை மாற்றி டெக்னாலஜியை யூஸ் பண்ணி ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பேர் தான் இது Green Revolution. So this happened in 1960s. During 1960s, the traditional agricultural practices were gradually replaced by modern technology and agricultural practices in India. So in 1960s, the traditional, whatever method of cultivation was practiced till 1960 was gradually replaced by modern technology. Farmers started using modern technology and agricultural practices in India. Initially, the new technology was tried in 1960-61 as a pilot project in 7 districts. So it was started initially only in 7 districts, but to see whether it is successful or not. That is what is called as pilot project. They did not have this Green Revolution practiced everywhere throughout India. Certain districts were selected and it was tried initially. So that is why it is called as the pilot project. So as a pilot project, it was started in 7 districts. It was called as the High Yielding Variety Program. This Green Revolution was called as the High Yielding Variety Program. அதாவது விளைச்சல் வந்து நிறையா 100 மூட்டை வர இடத்துல 1000 மூட்டை சடன் இன்க்ரீஸ் in the agricultural productivity can be called as Green Revolution, பசுமை புரட்சி. So it was also called as High Yielding Variety Program. So M.S. Swaminathan is called as the father of Green Revolution in India. It can be asked as 1-mark question. So what are the achievements of Green Revolution? The major achievement of the new strategy was to boost the production of major cereals like wheat and rice. So the production of major food crops, wheat and rice, increased. So that was the first major achievement. The production of wheat and rice increased. To increase the production of commercial crops or cash crops such as sugarcane, cotton, jute, oilseeds, and potatoes. So Green Revolution was used to increase the production of commercial crops or cash crops. Some crops are called as food crops. Wheat and rice are called as food crops. Commercial crops means you get money out of it. Cash crops and commercial crops are the same. So if you cultivate these crops, you get more money. You can use that to sell it or export to some other country. That's why it is called as commercial crops or cash crops. So Green Revolution helped to increase the production of commercial crops or cash crops such as sugarcane, cotton, jute, oilseeds, and potatoes. Per hectare productivity of all crops had increased due to better seeds. So because of Green Revolution, the farmers were able to get better seeds, and naturally the productivity per hectare ன்னு சொல்றது நிலத்தினுடைய அளவு. இந்த நிலத்துல வரக்கூடிய விளைச்சல் என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, அதிகமாயிடுச்சு. ஏன்னா விதைகள் நல்ல தரம் வாய்ந்த விதைகளா இருந்தது. Green Revolution had positive effect on the development of industries. Since there was an increase in production in the agricultural sector, definitely there was a development in industries. Because most of the industries are agro-based industries. Industries which are dependent on agriculture for their production. If you take sugar industry, it depends on sugar cane. Okay? Paper industry depends on wood, tree. That is again from agricultural sector. So Green Revolution had a positive effect on development of industries which manufactured agricultural tools like tractors, engines, threshers, and pumping set. Apart from that, இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸில் இன்னொரு டெவலப்மெண்ட்க்கு காரணம் Green Revolutionனால என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, எல்லாமே மிஷின்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. டிராக்டர் தேவைப்பட்டது, மோட்டார் பம்ப் செட் தேவைப்பட்டது, இன்ஜின் தேவைப்பட்டது, அறுவடை செய்யறதுக்கு விளைச்சல் அறுக்கிறதுக்கு த்ரெஷர்ஸ் அண்ட் பம்பிங் செட் இதெல்லாம் தேவைப்பட்டது. சரியா? ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி உபகரணங்கள், எக்யூப்மெண்ட்ஸ் எங்கேருந்து வரும், இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ்லேருந்து தான் வரும். ஆக்ரோ பேஸ்ட் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் ஒரு பக்கம் டெவலப் ஆயிடுச்சு. அதே சைடு இந்த மாதிரி இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் ஆல்சோ டெவலப் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த இன்க்ரீஸ் இன் த அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டி. Green Revolution had brought prosperity to rural people. People who are living in villages were benefited because of Green Revolution. Due to multiple cropping and more use of chemical fertilizers, the demand for laborers also increased. Farmers started using multiple cropping, different types of crops. Since chemical fertilizers were also used, there was demand for labor. Financial resources were provided by banks and cooperative societies. So the banking sector also developed because they were creating money. They were giving loans, they were lending money. So the financial resources were provided by banks and cooperative societies. These are the achievements of Green Revolution. பேங்க்ல எப்படி பெனிஃபிட் ஆயிருக்கும், இங்க அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் செக்டர் இருக்கவங்க நிறைய கடன் வாங்கியிருப்பாங்க. அப்போ பேங்க்லயும் பணம் நிறைய உருவாயிருக்கும், இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்க்கு நிறைய கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க, பேங்க்கும் அது ப்ராஃபிட்டபிளா இருந்திருக்கும். ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் தி அச்சீவ்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் Green Revolution. This is a very, very important question. What are the weaknesses of Green Revolution? Indian agriculture was still a gamble of the monsoons. What do you mean by that? Most of the agricultural fields here depend on monsoons. They are not irrigated by canals or water from the dam. Mostly Indian agriculture is dependent on monsoon. If the monsoon fails, the agricultural productivity is also very low. Monsoon நல்லா இருக்க சீசன் தான் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் இருக்கும் இந்தியாவில். ஏன்னா ரொம்ப நிறைய நிலங்கள் எதை சார்ந்து இருக்குது, மான்சூனை சார்ந்து தான் இருக்குது, பருவ கால மழைகளை சார்ந்து தான் இருக்குது. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த வீக்னஸ் ஆஃப் Green Revolution. This strategy needed heavy investment. You had to invest a lot to buy seeds, fertilizers, pesticides and water. The investment was large. Green Revolution investment was large. The income gap between large, marginal and small farmers had increased. In the Green Revolution, யார் தான் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணியிருப்பா? பெரிய ஃபார்மர்ஸ் தான், பெரிய லேண்ட் வச்சுருக்கவங்க தான் யூஸ் பண்ணிப்பாங்க. ஹெக்டேர் கணக்கில் 100 ஹெக்டேர் 200 ஹெக்டேர் லேண்ட் இருக்கவங்க தான் க்ரீன் ரெவல்யூஷன் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ண முடியும். பிகாஸ் டிராக்டரு மிஷின்ஸ்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. சின்ன ஃபார்மர்ஸ் they cannot use. So the income gap, the inequality in income between the large, marginal and small farmers had increased. Except in Punjab and to some extent in Haryana, farm mechanization had created widespread unemployment among agricultural laborers in rural areas. Since people started using machines, for ploughing they started using machines, for harvesting, for cutting, for threshing, for everything machine was used, for spraying fertilizers. So many of the agricultural laborers lost their job. There was widespread unemployment. Then larger chemical use and inorganic materials reduced the soil fertility and spoiled human health. So என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, ஃபர்டிலைசர்ஸ் நிறைய யூஸ் பண்ண இப்போ அதான் நிலைமை. நிறைய பேருக்கு கேன்சர், சாயில் ஃபர்டிலிட்டியும் போயிடுது, ஹியூமன் ஹெல்த்தும் போயிடுது. ஃபர்டிலைசர்ஸ் நிறைய யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுனால தான் இந்த பிரச்சனை. These are the weakness of Green Revolution. So we saw about Green Revolution. M.S. Swaminathan is called the father of Green Revolution. So what is Green Revolution? The term Green Revolution refers to the technological breakthrough in agricultural practices. That is a sudden increase in the agricultural productivity by using technology, by using machinery is called as Green Revolution. This happened in 1960. Then we saw the achievements of Green Revolution and the weakness of Green Revolution. Next we have the Rainbow Revolution. What do you mean by Rainbow Revolution? The overall development of agriculture and allied sector is called as a Rainbow Revolution. Green Revolution is only for plants. In agriculture, Green Revolution of plants, productivity in agricultural sector is called as Green Revolution. Now we have Rainbow Revolution. So what do you mean by Rainbow Revolution? Green Revolution is for food grains production. White Revolution for the production of milk. Milk உடைய production increase ஆகுது இல்லையா, அதுக்கு பேரு White Revolution. Blue Revolution எதுக்கு? Fishes. சீல இருக்கக்கூடிய எல்லா prawn, fish, crab, that is called as Blue Revolution. Yellow Revolution is for oil seeds. Golden Revolution is for fruits and apples. Golden Revolution means it is increase in production of fruits and especially apple. Black Revolution is for the increase in petroleum production. Silver Revolution is for egg. Round Revolution, urunda urundeya, it is for potato. Red Revolution is for meat and tomato. Grey Revolution is for fertilizers. Pink Revolution வந்து shrimp. Blue, here I said Blue Revolution is only for fish. Pink Revolution தான் என்னது? இறால், shrimp. Brown Revolution is for leather. So this is about Rainbow Revolution. Once this question was asked as a 5-mark question. Rainbow Revolution na என்னதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. So if Rainbow Revolution is asked, you have to write all these. Okay. So overall development of agriculture and allied sector is called as Rainbow Revolution. Then you have to explain each. White Revolution, Blue Revolution, Yellow, like that. You have to write that. Explain பண்ண முடியாது. Write White Revolution, milk. Blue Revolution, fish. Pink Revolution, shrimp. அப்படின்னா என்னது? Increase in the production of all these things. Increase in the production of fertilizers is called as Grey Revolution. Increase in potato production is called as Round Revolution. Okay. So Green Revolution பார்த்துட்டோம், Rainbow Revolution. Next we have to see about large scale industries. In the next video, I will continue with the large scale industries.